introducing a new series, The History of Forced Feminization, as told through the canon of its stories. This will not interfere with my existing series on intersex representation. It will be something coinciding, and it will be a companion piece to the book I'm working on, which chronicles the history of forced feminization through more broad trends than what I'm going to be working on here, which I think will be interesting because it is rooted in trans culture indirectly because it's based on people not understanding what trans people are. Forced feminization is an erotic and often comedic genre about a dominant party, or just the harshness of the world, forcing a male subject to assume the female gender role and/or body as part of sexual domination. It is deeply ingrained in Western culture as a primary illustration of transgender women and intersex people, distorted through a funhouse mirror. In recent years, it is increasingly being reclaimed by trans women.
What the heck?
And it rests as a distinct aspect of trans culture that hasn't been examined seriously enough. Also, the far right is trying to politicize it as a supposed cause of the existence of trans people, making it relevant to modern politics. Following the example of Gregofer at Pop Arena, a Nickelodeon historian whose video essay series Knickknacks I deeply admire, I'm going to review each important story and discuss the creation, plots, themes, and cultural contexts. Some of these will include schlocky erotica, but less than you think. The genre is fundamentally the same thing whether it's schlocky erotica or vaudeville comedy put on by the Three Stooges or Laurel and Hardy. Or Jax. They came from the same point of origin, which, as far as I can tell, was in ancient Greece. It's not a universal motif, and every manifestation of it, from Charlie Chaplin to Ranma 1/2 to Fiction Mania, is a branch of a stream emanating from a single point, where an ancient Greek author wrote down what appears to be a misunderstanding of contemporary trans women as the product of a curse, in which an angry goddess force-feminized a group of men. The reason why so many trans women like the genre is because it's ultimately about trans women just viewed through a funhouse mirror of how cis men think that trans women are just men who have been forced to conform to femininity as a punishment, and would likely never arise organically without trans women to inspire it. And that makes it an important cultural artifact worth celebrating in its own weird way. For the next 20 videos or so, I'm going to be talking almost exclusively about Greek mythology and its post-classical reception. Yeah, I bet you didn't expect Jax being forced into a maid outfit to be rooted in Greek myth, but that appears to be the case. So gear up for a lot of genre grounding, talking about Achilles cross-dressing, and other Greek myths blurring the lines of gender. The ancient Greeks and Romans defined the way Westerners thought about gender bending for the next 2 millennia, and when you look at the earliest stories in online transformation fetish fiction, a significant chunk of them are modernized rehashes of Greek myth. The importance of studying what ancient Greeks were saying about forced gender transformation cannot be overstated. Without further ado, let's talk about the history of forced feminization. Next video. For the world's first historian, this guy Herodotus sure wrote a lot of nonsense.